First responders, thank you for all that you do. I'm Garrett Martin of the Alberta First Responder Mortgage Program, a program I put together myself. After spending 8.5 years in law enforcement, I got my mortgage broker's license, and now I'm a proud sponsor of the Alberta First Responder Association and doing mortgages for first responders. No matter where you are in Canada, reach out. We're talking exclusive rate discounts, cashback offers, and guidance from someone who's been in your boots. I know the demands of the job, and I know how to make homeownership easier. Whether you're buying, renewing, or refinancing, I'll compare top lenders from across Canada to save you money. So visit GarrettMartinMortgages.com or text me at 403-915-1025 and let's get to work for you. Thank you for your service.
Sirens, Slammers, and Service, a podcast for female first responders by female first responders. My name is Nikki and I will be your host. As a former correctional officer in Alberta for almost 2 decades and the founder of Blue Line Fitness Testing, which provides law enforcement fitness testing and first responder wellness workshops, I started this podcast as a way for female first responders to share the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of their daily work. I want to showcase the unique perspectives, skill sets, and personalities that women bring to a first responder career and share their stories. So get ready to laugh your ass off, learn a whole bunch, and be inspired by some pretty badass women. Let's go. Hey guys, oh my gosh, today, you guys, I am joined all the way from down under. Today, I have a guest all the way from Australia. I am joined by Helen Dugdale. Helen is a psychotherapist with a background in science, over 40 years worth of experience in that. And she became a psychotherapist 12 years ago. She's also the author of Put Insomnia to Sleep, which came out 2 years ago. You can find it on Amazon. And a 90-day journal that helps with goal setting, as well as workshops that are motivated to remind yourself why you are worth it. And she has a new book coming out, Overcoming Anxiety. It's going to be out in the summer of 2026. And I am so excited to have you today, Helen. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Nikki. And even better for talking to you.
We've been talking a little bit before we started recording. So it's 2:30 in the afternoon here in Canada. It is 8:30 in the morning tomorrow in Australia, and you're north of Sydney in New South Wales, and it's going into summer for you. I was just saying it's freezing here today. I've got the fireplace on, and you said it's plus 38. Like all of our listeners that are listening right now in the dead of winter are just like dreaming of being in Australia and wishing we were there.
It's pretty beautiful.
You know what? It's on my bucket list. Australia, New Zealand, that is on my bucket list. I am going to make it there somehow, some way. I'm going to go down there. And then when I go down, now I have another friend to visit. I'm going to be like, hey, Helen, I'm coming for a visit.
Yeah, great. Good.
Okay, so let's dive in because you have so many cool things. So we've got anxiety, like people suffering from anxiety and the information that you can give on that. You've got rewiring the brain for calm. So therapies like NLP, EMDR, science of sleep, so insomnia, phobias, we've got gut-brain connection, mental fitness every day. You have a phenomenal website where there's tons of resources in there, as well as your books. And so I want to dive right in because I feel like you have so many amazing things that you can share with our listeners in regards to the things that first responders struggle with, which is a lot of the times insomnia, anxiety, rewiring our brains, gut-brain connection, our mental fitness, things like that. So tell me, I want to know everything about you. I want to know how you got into this, what drives you to do this work, and what can we as first responders take from what you have learned and what can we implement in our lives daily?
Oh, thanks, Nikki. And before I start talking about myself and my background, I just quickly want to say that in the way you introduced me with all those things I do and all the things I offer, they might sound to your listeners, oh, it's a bit of this and a bit of that, and it's widespread. But when you get down to it, there is a connection amongst all of those topics. And the main thing is that when we're in a stress mode, whatever it is, our emotions take over our brain and we can't think straight. So it doesn't matter if it's a phobia, sleeplessness, or gut brain things, our emotions take over and we can't think straight. So what I do with all my clients is reduce that emotion and give them time to bring the logic in. Like, how do you want to feel from now on? We all know what we should be doing, We know that that's what we're doing doesn't make sense. But why are we doing it? When we know what we should be doing, why aren't we doing it? And that's because our emotions are taking over our thinking. So that's the connection. And everyone is different issues, different reasons, different results. So I love what I do. And a bit about my background, as you said, I've been in science for 40 years. And then about 15 years ago, I started running personal development workshops. And that's like motivation, goal setting, communication skills, leadership skills, confidence building. And I thought I should really go back to uni and study psychology. So I did a graduate diploma in psychology at University of New England in New South Wales. And it was just, I love learning, and it just rang so many bells of what the brain does and doesn't do. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So that was, and I graduated on my 62nd birthday a few years ago, and it was bloody hard. doing statistics. Wow. Anyway, so since then, I've been able to help a lot of people with their anxieties, their phobias, dealing with gut issues, and especially sleep issues, because they're all connected. If you don't, sleep is like the third leg of a stool, the tripod. Sleep, diet, and exercise are the three mainstays of your life. But thinking about it, I think sleep is the most important, because if you don't get enough sleep, your diet goes out the window, your exercise goes out the window, you start having gut problems and maybe relationship problems, or maybe even you're so tired you make mistakes at work or on the way to and from work. Or you might be so tired that you'll grab an energy drink or grab that chocolate bar to keep you going, or you might have an alcohol, maybe a bit too much because you're so tired and you're not thinking straight. So sleep really is the mainstay of our health. But I don't want to frighten people. You can get by on a few hours less sleep, but then you need to do something about it. You have to be proactive about getting better sleep and reducing your anxiety. Because all the research, I did a fair bit of research in my book, Put Insomnia to Sleep. And the research says that the more anxious you get, the less likely you'll get quality sleep. And the less quality sleep you get, the more anxious you'll be. Mm-hmm. It's a bi-directional effect. So, and the more you fight going to sleep, like people say, I have to sleep, and they get all worked up. Well, that's building up the stress hormone, the cortisol, and there's no way you're going to go to sleep because you're all fired up. But I say to people, when you're trying to go to sleep, don't even think of the word sleep. Just think of being calm and relaxed. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but I get people into a routine. They're calm and relaxed, and maybe just stop fighting it. Okay, right, I'll only get a few hours tonight. I'm just going to be calm and relaxed. And eventually they will be able to get to sleep. And I give people a few practical tips that they can put in place, but everyone is different. What works for some people might not work for other people. So we tailor that.
I love that, because I feel like you have been standing in my bedroom at watching me as I have insomnia and not sleeping, because that's exactly right. I look at the clock and I'm like, oh God, now I'm only getting 5 hours of sleep. Now I'm only getting 4.5 hours of sleep. Now I'm only going to get 4 hours of sleep. And it's exactly right. Like, I'm watching the clock tick down. And then also like my negative mental chatter where I'm like, good God, Nikki, just go to sleep. You're tired. Your body is tired. You're exhausted. You're laying in the bed, just brain turn off and go to sleep. So I love that you're saying this. Don't even think of because it's true. As soon as I say the word sleep in my brain's like, actually, it's party time. It's party time. We will not be going to sleep. Like, I feel like a 2-year-old that's like, no bedtime. Like, so I like that.
Nikki, I'm getting stressed just listening to all that. It's a bit like, I've actually seen it in action. A person was teaching a driver how to drive a car. They were in a paddock, no cars, no traffic lights. There was one tree in the middle of the paddock. There's no danger. And the driving instructor's saying, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree. What does the driver do? Just veers towards the tree and hits it.
Yep.
That's because that's what was in their mind. And another example, our psychology lecturers said, if you tell someone to not think of a blue polar bear, what are they going to think of?
Yeah.
They're going to think of a blue polar bear.
Yes.
So if you're telling yourself, sleep, 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 it's not going to happen. If you tell yourself, relaxed, that will happen eventually.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like how you said that the emotions play into it too, because I think that is part of it. Is usually whatever we're stressed about, whatever we're anxious about, whatever's keeping us up at night, there's an emotional attachment to it. So it may be that you had a fight with somebody. It may be that you had a really stressful situation that day at work, or it may be that, you've got financial worries, or there's other things. There's emotions tied up in that of like, oh, I'm a failure, or, oh, I was mean today, or, oh, I was an idiot today. I felt really stupid after I said that. Like, why would I say that? You're replaying those conversations and things. And so I think tying in that emotional side of things and recognizing that, like, we also can control our emotions. So we can control how we feel about a situation, how we feel we reacted to that situation. We can let go of some of that shame or that, anger or that sadness that's related to that situation. And then hopefully that will also start to alleviate that anxiety, let us start to calm down, have that response that we're looking for physiologically. So yeah, very interesting that the emotions are so tied to that.
Yep. And that's a good point, because people are beating themselves up overnight. Mm-hmm. And maybe you do have real worries, daytime worries. Maybe there is something bothering you. But when you think about it, when you put logic into it, what can you really do about it at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.? Mm-hmm. You can't really do anything about it. So you may as well get as much sleep as you can so you're in a better state to deal with it the next day. And then all that other guff you were telling yourself, like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Well, that's silly dwelling on all that. You can't change it. So what are you going to do that's going to be better the next day? I'm going to be, and I don't tell people what I think they should say or do, but I'll get it out of them what they're comfortable saying. Because it's no good me saying, oh, you should do this and you should do that. It has to come from them, what they feel comfortable implementing in their own life. Because if it comes from them, they're more likely to follow through if it's their own idea. Mm-hmm. But I'll help you get, some people even say to me, just tell me what to do. and even though it's tempting, I keep digging and asking them, what do they feel comfortable with? Mm-hmm. How do they want to feel from now on? What do they want to put in action?
Yeah. I think too, like you said, it's that, like, the worrying that never gets you anywhere. And I can't remember where I saw it, but it was probably like, a motivational post or something, but it's like worrying about that's coming in the future doesn't do anything for you today. Like it just wrecks today. So don't worry about what's to come, like deal with that when that comes, like focus on what you're doing right now, today, in this moment. And so again, as like a yogi, for me, that's like, I try to do that all the time and then I fail miserably. I catch myself, but I'm like, you need to let that go, because that ain't happening right now.
There's nothing wrong with planning ahead. That's good. But if you're planning ahead, write it down in your notes or on paper before you go to bed. So that
Yes.
if you do wake up, you know you've written your notes down. They're there waiting for you. They'll be there the next day for you to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's nothing you can do about it at 2 a.m. or whatever time it is. So you know you've got it written down on paper. You're going to deal with it better the next day.
Yes. Yeah. I definitely find that is one of my key strategies when my brain is on like constant. I have a pad of paper and a pen next to my bed, and I will roll over and I will just brain dump. I will just write everything that is in my brain, whether it makes sense or not, whether it's like the to-do list, if it's the don't forget this, if it's, like, oh, fix this because you screwed that up, or and once you get it out of your head, I find like that is for me,
Yes.
that's when my brain goes, oh, okay, we're empty
Yes.
now, and then we can go to
Brain
sleep.
has dealt with it. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a science question for you because I heard this and I didn't believe it, but now I have an actual scientist in front of me, so I'm going to ask you this. So the difference between men and women and what is in our brains and what is in their brains, thought-wise, is it true that women's brains are constantly, because I know mine is, constantly like, grrr, whereas like men can seriously just not have anything in their head. Like when you're like, what are you thinking about? They're like, nothing. And there's actually like nothing. Like they're not actually thinking about anything. Because when my husband's like, what are you thinking about? I'm like, do you want me to give you the list of like 7 things? Well, I'll like hyper stimulated, like the tag on the back of my shirt is also bugging me. Like, do you want me to give you that list? I'm like, what are you thinking about? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, what? So is it true or is it not true?
Even though we'd like to think it's not true, the research says that women are more thinking about lots of different things at once. And maybe in evolution, it's because we've been the child rearers and we've got to be thinking about all those different possible dangers and nutrition and all that, whereas the male is really only thinking about getting the next food, killing the next animal to feed the family. And that's all they have to think about, is providing for the family.
Right.
Whereas the women have got to think of all the other things.
Yeah.
And that's evolution. I mean, I'm not saying, but there are quite a few men who have thoughts that are running through their head. And so it's not like black and white. But
no,
all men don't think of it yet.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I heard it and I thought to myself, there's no freaking way. And then I was like, well, if science says it's true, because, and again, I don't ever want to bash the guys because I have lots of really great guy friends and guy listeners and things like that. But it is interesting to me because, like, I'm just like, and I have done my own research where I've asked a bunch of guy friends, I'm like, yeah, no, there's nothing. I'm not thinking about anything. And I'm just like, can we trade brains for like half a day?
Yeah.
Like half a day would be great.
There's a lot of research that women do worry about other people, the nurturing side. So I'm not saying that men aren't nurturers, but a lot of men, they've got the ability, if there's something that would worry a woman, a man goes, who cares? And let it just brush off.
Yes, where we put that emotion around it and we start to, we make a bigger deal out of a lot of things than we should. So, I will definitely say that is for sure what we do.
Yeah. I even tell some of my female clients, think more like a man. It's not worth worrying about.
Yes, I like that. Okay, so I want to dive into this gut brain connection because there's so much out there right now about, how what happens in your gut affects the rest of your body. If it's your, probiotics in your gut and like the actual physiological, but then also in that first responder thing, that gut feeling. When you don't listen to what your gut is telling you, for me, again, my personal experience, every single time I have not listened to that gut feeling, it is bit me in the damn ass every single time. And then every single time I said to myself, I'm never going to not listen to my gut again. And then guaranteed, give it some time. I forget and I don't listen to my gut. And guess what? It bites me in the ass. So explain this part to me.
Well, even our psychology lecturers at university said, always listen to your gut instinct, because that's how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your experience of life too.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a chapter about the gut and brain in my Put Insomnia to Sleep book. And I went into a lot of research about that. And they're saying that the gut is called the second brain. And sometimes it even charges into action before we've had a serious thought. Like if you've ever been in a near hit, that
Mm-hmm.
your gut starts churning or clenches, or your bowels go to water. You've heard those things.
Yep.
Or some people get all bound up. So the gut does feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it sends messages straight to the brain, and the brain can send messages to the gut too. And if you don't look after your gut, like with the probiotics or with healthy food, like too much sugar, fat, all that sort of stuff is going to disrupt the gut biome, all those little creatures in your gut, and that will stir things up. And it will affect the brain, and you will get more emotion. Maybe you can't think straight if your gut's all churning.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt that? Or some of your listeners might have felt that. They're so worked up, and their gut is all churning, and all they can think about is their churning guts, and they can't think of, what am I supposed to do now?
Mm-hmm.
They could be frozen or ready to flee.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because it is once, and that's something that we train on, right? Is that you can't freeze and you can't flee, and your only reaction has to be to fight.
Yeah.
And so even if your gut is going, oh my God, what the fuck? You can't. You're in it. You're in it. You got to stay and you got to do it. So yes, it is totally true. But I can see how we go against our physiological responses. The natural response is to, like you said, to kind of, whoa, wait, ooh, this doesn't feel good. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Right. And we are trained to fight through that. But it's so funny, because then the opposite of that is you're also trained. What is your gut telling you in this situation? What is so even if your gut is churning and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And what is your gut telling you in this situation? Do you go left? Do you go right? Do you go forward? Do you go back? Do you believe this person? Do you not believe this person? Do you trust this person? Do you not trust this person? And so it's really interesting, that kind of back and forth on how that plays.
Well, in those cases, that's where your training comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of the emotions taking over, your logic should come in. Right. You stop. What is really going on here? What do I do next? Instead of the emotions taking over.
Yeah.
So you just even take one deep breath. That gives you a virtual breathing space. What is really going on here? What should I do next? And that's when the training comes in.
Yeah. And so then along those lines, we talk about shift work. And so how shift work can play a big, significant role in our sleep patterns, in our gut health, in our anxiety, mental health, our physical, all of that stuff. So what do you know about that? And what have you learned along the way about that side of things?
Yes. And again, I've got another chapter about shift work in there. Shift work brings up so many issues. You really have to get the sleep when you can. I know it's awkward if you've only had a 4-hour changeover, or you're going against your circadian rhythm, with having to work at night time. So get the sleep whenever you can. I've known a few first responders that when they go home, they go and do all the yard work and go and visit relatives and go and do jobs when they should be sleeping. Grab the time when you can.
Yeah.
So even though the logical side of them knows I should get some sleep when I've got my time off, they feel guilty that they're not doing things for the family, or they feel obliged to go and do things where they should really get the sleep when they've got their time off.
And that's that emotion again, like you said, that sensation of, that sensation of obligation, of that guilt, of that, oh, I've already missed so much because I worked all day yesterday or all weekend, and I've already missed the last 3 family things that we were supposed to go to. So I better suck it up this time and I better go. Right. But then we consistently end up sucking it up and going and doing things when, we should be resting. We should be resting.
Yeah. I know it's a difficult situation, and you've got to weigh up every event on its own. You know, you should really prioritize your sleep when you've got the time off. There's some workplaces, I think, even allow like half-hour naps during the shift. If you've got a workplace that does that, that's really good. A half-hour pick-me-up sleep will recharge the batteries.
Yeah, that's called lunchtime for us.
Yeah. When you're on those long-haul flights, some of those flight attendants and pilots, they're allowed to go and have a sleep during they've got their sleep pods or whatever they're called.
Yeah. That's funny because when I used to work at the old jail, we had like this little couch area, this little kind of, and there was like the tiniest TV ever. And we would all kind of like huddle around the TV and just like watch whatever was on the TV on our lunch and eat our lunch and kind of just hang out and talk. If you weren't, like working out, or some of the older staff would play cards at lunch and like that type of stuff. But there was like one little tiny couch, and we would all be like fighting for it because you could lay down for half an hour and like curl up inside your like uniform and like get your uniform jacket and put it over your face and just curl up and try and have a little snooze because everybody was so tired. And then when we went to the new jail, there was no, like, it was just a cafeteria. There's no like couchy spaces. And we were all like, where are we supposed to have a nap? What do you mean? What's going on here?
And I think there's a push in some workplace health and safety, like even government recommendations. Well, there is in Australia that they're recommending some workplaces that have shift workers to provide a sleep area. If it's practical, and that's great.
Yes.
Because and the research shows that there's less accidents and people are more alert.
Totally.
They get enough sleep.
Well, and I think that's the thing too, like sleep is so important. Like if you don't have a good night's sleep, you feel like garbage the next day. Everybody knows that, right? If you're running on, like multiple days of not enough sleep, eventually it's going to catch up and you're either going to get sick, you're going to get a cold, or you're just because your body is run down. So having that sleep is good. But I think it's also, again, like you're saying, good sleep. So not necessarily, I'm laying in bed for 10 hours, but I'm not actually sleeping. I'm on my phone, or I'm watching a TV show, or I'm reading a book, or yes, I'm in bed for that 10 hours, but that 10 hours is broken up. I'm not getting that deep sleep that I need to. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about that, because my friend and I had this conversation, actually, we were talking about this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, about like, what's your optimum hours of sleep a night, right? And she's like, I need 9 hours to be a function. She's a nurse. She's like, I need 9 hours. If I don't get 9 hours, I'm a basket case. She's like, I can do it for like one day, but like you hit me 2-3 days less than 9 hours of sleep. She's like, I am not a nice person. My husband does not like me. I don't like me. My coworkers don't like me. And I was like, okay. But for me, I'm like, well, I feel like I'm like a 6.5, 7 hour. Like if I get more sleep than that, like I usually wake up anyways. My body's like, okay, it's time to get up. Like we can't actually lay in bed. Even if I have the opportunity to sleep in and I'm like, oh my God, yes, tomorrow I get to sleep in and I'm so excited. My body's like, actually at 8:30 a.m. you will be wide awake and you will not be able to go back to sleep, even though you didn't have to get out of bed until 10 this morning. Mm-hmm. So what's the science behind that?
The science is that they all say 7 to 8 hours for adults.
Okay.
And that's great. There are some people that can get by on 6. That's good. Less than 6, you start to worry. As you said, you'll get run down, you could get sick, you'll be grumpy, all those sorts of things. More than some people like 9 or 10, but they say there's even a danger of having too much sleep. But I didn't get into the too much side. So 7 or 8 hours across 24 hours is good. If you get 4 hours and then 3 hours, well, that's still good.
Okay. So if we
7
do
or
have
8
to
hours across 24 is good.
Okay, so if we do have to split it, then it's still okay. Okay, well,
Yes.
that's good.
Mhm.
That's good. Okay. And then the next question I have is around that. Okay, now we're stacking up multiple days without that sleep, or we're not getting that deep sleep that we need. So we're getting the time, we're getting the 7 hours, we're getting the 8 hours, we're getting the 10, but it is not that deep restorative sleep that we need. How do we get that? Because I need that personally. B, what does that do to our bodies if we're not getting that deep restorative sleep beyond the I'm cranky, I'm not a very nice person? Like, is there things happening on a cellular level?
Yes.
If we're not getting that deep sleep?
Well, that's deep sleep is where the cell regeneration happens. That's when the healing happens. And like the obvious one is if you don't get enough sleep, where are those bags under your eyes coming from? That's the cells not regenerating. And usually the bags under your eyes is because the skin under there is very thin and you can see the blood pooling. So it's not draining away. So people would be able to recognise when I say that you look better after a good night's sleep, don't you? And you just look drawn and baggy after a bad night's sleep. So that's the first thing that's happening with the deep sleep. The other, and there's been lots of research, is when you have good sleep, deep sleep, that's the time when your brain is draining away toxins from your brain's stem cells. So, and if you don't get enough sleep, the toxins are building up, and it builds up a plaque around your brain connections, and that can lead to problems later on if those toxins are building up. So we need deep sleep to drain those toxins away. Just resting or light sleep is not enough. Again, I'd sound like I'm scaring people. Not everyone who has insomnia is going to have problems later on. I will say it could be a precursor though. So it's imperative to do whatever you can to get good sleep. And I know the more you're stressed about it, the less likely you're going to get good sleep. So you have to get back into that calm and relaxed. And there's lots of tips out there. And again, you have to do it. You have to follow through and say to yourself, I am worth doing this. I value myself enough to put in good sleep routines. So do you value yourself, or you're always saying yes to everybody else? You value yourself enough to put in these good habits, good sleeping habits. So I've got a one-pager, a PDF, if people want to contact me. It's a list of bad habits to avoid and new habits to start implementing. And what works for one person might not work for another, but out of all the information available, I've gathered the best. The bad habits to give up, the good habits to start, to get you relaxed, to get you in that frame of mind where sleep is more likely to happen. And it will take time. And it's what Aristotle said 2,000 years ago, that Greek philosopher. He said, you are what you repeatedly do. Now think about it. If you keep saying, I'm a stress head, I'm a stress head, I'm a stress head, you will be. But if you keep saying, I am capable, or I am relaxed, or I am a good person even, people are lying awake at night beating themselves up. What if they kept saying, I am a good person? I deserve to be relaxed. I am a good person. And then they will be. They will think better of themselves, and they will put in these good routines that's going to help them sleep better because they are worth it.
Yeah, I think it's true. I think that is in the evening, like at night, when it's dark, when you're in your bed and you're alone with your thoughts, whether there's somebody, you got your spouse or your significant other, whoever, cat, dog, somebody else is in the bed with you, your kids maybe. And when we sit with ourselves in that dark, usually silent-ish space, that's when those thoughts creep in. That's when those sensations of I'm not good enough, I made a mistake today, we beat ourselves up, that stuff really kind of settles in. And or we revisit past mistakes that we've made. We revisit like, oh, 5 years ago when I did that, whatever, or 3 months ago when I did that. And again, it's not helping us. It's not helping us in the present moment. It is something that we did. Maybe it was a really bad thing that we did. Maybe it was a stupid thing that we did. Maybe we did hurt somebody, that we love, or we made a choice that had bigger repercussions than we thought would have. But we beat ourselves up. And so I agree with that. I think that is a good opportunity to reframe that into a different thought process, a different wording of, you know what, I did do that. I'm gonna own that I was mean to that person today, that I wasn't very nice to that checkout cashier. But you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to be nicer. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I'm going to, I'm going to make a concerted effort that I'm going to be nicer tomorrow. I think that's a good way to reframe it and to kind of put it on yourself of, like it doesn't always have to be negative when you're sitting there and you're going through that stuff. So I think that's a very good way of looking at that.
That's exactly what I tell clients, what you've just said. That's great.
Yeah. And so I want to dive into we talked a little bit about like everyday mental fitness. So coming from my business, we do fitness testing for law enforcement, physical fitness, things like that. But talking about mental fitness. So strategies to boost focus, confidence, achieve mental balance, strive for those goals. Again, a lot of the people that I'm working with, their goal is to pass their fitness test or to get that job or to change agencies or to get that promotion. And so what are some of those strategies that you've come up with or that you know of that can help our listeners do that, boost their focus, boost their confidence, give themselves better emotional balance? I know we've talked about quite a few of them here. Getting a good night's sleep is a great start. Number one, guys, get a good night's sleep. But what are some other strategies?
The next good one is to believe in yourself. You are worth putting in the effort. People say, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm going to fail, or all this sort of thing. That they are worth it. They are going to make a difference. And then start looking after their physical health, like a good diet. Like I say 80-20. 80% healthy food, 20% not so healthy. You don't want to deprive yourself completely, because that's going to be good for your system and feeding your brain good food. The other one is to be active. Like you might not feel like exercising today. Bad luck, go and do it. You will feel better after 5 minutes. And I say to people, when you feel like giving up, just hang in there for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. It's like a rhetorical 5 more minutes. Just hang in there 5 minutes. You've got more left in the tank than what you think you have. So not giving up, believing in yourself, healthy food, exercise. The other one is sunshine. Now, I know in the Northern Hemisphere, when you've got less hours of day, just try and get out there for at least 15 minutes of sunshine if you can. And that helps, boost your system as well, vitamin D and things, and your circadian rhythm. So sunshine's a good one. Believe in yourself. The motivation, again, are you worth it? Are you worth the effort? And think about all the good things you're going to achieve once you reach your goal, or in the process of reaching your goal. What are the good things you're able to do to either for yourself or to help other people? What else was there?
Well, I think you touched on a lot of them. I love the physical one, because the things that you said are literally what I say all the time whenever I'm teaching classes. You've got more in the tank. Believe in yourself. Don't give up, as I'm yelling as they're doing burpees and other things. So I do love it. I was like, oh, look at Helen. Helen is just, she's just backing me up over here with what I'm saying is right. But I do believe in that. I think for me, again, the physical, to be well, to be confident, to feel better physically in my body, movement, whatever it has to be. And I absolutely subscribe to the 5 minutes, because there's days when I am absolutely exhausted. I didn't sleep well. I didn't eat. I'm stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, there's too much on my plate. I don't have time. I literally don't have time to do this workout because I have blah, 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 blah to do. Right.
Yeah.
And so I say, okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes. I can go on the treadmill for 5 minutes. I can go for a walk for 5 minutes. I can do a quick circuit for 5 minutes. Well, once you start 5 minutes, then you're like, okay, well, I got another 5 minutes. Oh, I got another 5 minutes. And then it's half an hour. And then half an hour is like, dang, okay, great. I didn't think I was going to do a half hour, whatever it was, right? Circuit or a run or whatever it is. But I did it and I got it done. And now I feel better. And wow, isn't that amazing how that works out? So like, trick yourself into it. Even if you're like, I don't have time, you're on shift and you're like, oh, I don't have time to do a workout because I'm working shift. You got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. And even if all you get is 5 minutes, like it literally is, you're in your workout clothes, you got 5 minutes and your body's like, absolutely not. And you get off the treadmill and you're like, you did 5 minutes. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. So at the end of the day, we'll take that as a win. 5 minutes is better than no minutes.
Hey, Nikki, I think you and I are on the same plane. That's what that's what I say to people. Just, you might not have an hour to do what you need to do, maybe 5 minutes. And I say, because people will always come up with excuses, whatever. But also imagine the power of imagination. Imagine how good you're going to feel when you've achieved X, Y, and Z. When you've achieved your goal, how good are you going to feel? You've done this. You've done this from all your own efforts. You've got this. How good does that feel?
Yeah.
So imagine achieving your goal. Yeah. And I like the 5 minutes one in my 90-day journal in the goal setting workshops. I say to people, I know you're going to come up with excuses for not doing what you said you're going to do. And you haven't got enough time is usually the biggest excuse, or you don't feel like it. How many minutes in a day? 1,440 minutes in a day. 1% of that is 14.4 minutes. That means, can you exercise for 14 minutes a day? You've still got, or do whatever you want to do, whether it's writing a book or exercising or whatever it is you have to do. Have you got 14 minutes? That still leaves 99% of your day to do all the other things you just told me you have to do. And then I say, well, you might not have 14 minutes. You might have 7 minutes. That's 0.5%. Not even 1%. It's half of 1% of your whole day. You've still got 99.5% of the day left to do everything else, to sleep, to eat, to help others, to whatever you have to do. So have you got 7 minutes in a day to do what you have to do? And then, like you said, once you do that 7 minutes, like get your running gear ready or get whatever ready to do your 7 minutes, when you started your 7 minutes, you think, like you just said, well, I'm here now. I may as well do 10 minutes. Oh, well, I'm on a roll here. I may as well do 20 minutes. Oh, well, I've still got another 10. Oh, I may as well do 30 minutes. And how good does that feel? You've done 30 minutes instead of none. How good is that? And then you're more motivated to do it again.
Yes.
So I tell people that's the 1% or the half of 1% idea. Yeah. And then one guy in a workshop I was running, he goes, oh, well, there goes my excuse to do nothing.
It's true. Well, and it works even when you're doing something you hate. So like I do not like running. I don't like running. Running is not my friend. I've talked about this so many times on the podcast. Everybody knows I hate running. I'll run if I have to. I play rugby. I'll run for that. But I am not running. Like to go for a run no, hard pass. Run on the treadmill, hard pass. However, there are times when you know what? You have to run. It is just part of it. You have to do a run. It's part of training. You're training for something. You need it. You do the run. The 5 minutes works there too, because I'm like, I'm going to run for 5 minutes. And that is all I'm going to run. I'm going to run for 5 freaking minutes. And I watch that clock like a psycho. Like I am like 4 minutes and 57 seconds, 4 minutes and 58 seconds, 4 minutes and 59 seconds, 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes. And then I'm like, I am done. I've done my 5 minutes. See you later. So it works the opposite way too, where you can use it as like, I hate this and I'm just going to do it for 5 minutes and then I'm going to get it over and done with. That could be your morning, whatever that you hate that you have to do for 5 minutes. Just put it do it for 5 minutes, get it over and done with. You check the box, you can move on. So I do like that. And so the question I have for you though is, okay, so dealing with, again, first responders, a lot of our mental health is not the strongest. A lot of the times our confidence is not necessarily the strongest, even though we're usually quite type A personalities. We kind of have like that swing of like highly overconfident, probably shouldn't be, versus very underconfident, like you said, second guessing ourselves, second guessing our choices, second guessing the decisions we make. And then, sometimes we're kind of happily in the middle where we're like, yeah, I feel comfortable. I know what I'm doing. But so what do we do when, and again, there's kind of two sides to this coin, when the confidence or the belief that you are good enough, that you are worthy enough is not there? Because I know I've had that sensation in the one side of being like that imposter syndrome of like, oh my God, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, who gave me this job? Who put me in charge? Like, bless them that they think I can do it, but I am like hanging on by my fingernails over here and I am not good enough and I am not smart enough and I can't do this job. I know I can't. And then I've also been there in a mental downward spiral of having been told, having had it be reiterated to me multiple times from supervisors, administrators, toxic culture people, that I suck, that I'm not good enough, that I don't deserve to be here. Even though in my mind, I'm kind of like, but like, I feel like I'm doing like a pretty good job. Like, what do you mean? Right. So how do we balance that, or how do we like mitigate that when we're not feeling like we are worthy or good enough or smart enough or deserving of the opportunity?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot in there. There's, where do I start? The first thing is you did the training. You've qualified for that job. That's the first thing. Is this the job you really want? You're helping people. You're in this because you want to make a difference. You want to help other people. You've done the training. So keep reminding yourself that you've qualified. And I bet in the past you have helped people. You're not a complete basket case, are you? So you have helped people in the past. And there might be situations where you will be tested. That happens. And so keep reminding yourself that you can do it. You've helped people in the past. You can do it again. You've done the training. Keep going over that, all your good points and why you're doing it. Then with the point with when there's other people telling you negative things, well, I go back to 2,000 years ago with those philosophers. They said, you can't change what other people say. You can't change what they say and do. You can only change how you react and you feel. You can say, well, that's their opinion. I might learn something from them. I might take something away and put it to good use, but really that's their opinion and I can't change that. Do I agree with them or do I believe in myself? So again, it's how you let other people impact how you feel. And as I said, you might be able to learn something from it. And if not, it's just their opinion.
Yeah, it's true. And like, it's so simple when somebody else says it back to you, right? When somebody else says those things and you're like, oh my God, duh. Like, yeah, you're right. It is just their opinion. But we do get so inside our own heads, inside our own emotions, inside our own bodies of like, what? Like, what? Oh my God. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
why do you feel that way? Or why do you think that? And like, how do I make you not think that? But it's right. You're right. It's their opinion. And if you know, and you dial it into the facts. And I think that's the other part is that we don't do is we let opinions and attitudes and emotions and that stuff that overtake the true facts of the situation, which are you are trained, you do have the experience, you do have the knowledge, you do, like, they wouldn't have picked you if they didn't think you could do the job. So clearly along the way somehow you've proven to these people, whoever it is, if you're having imposter syndrome, that you can do it, right? That you can do it, or that you can do it maybe just with a little bit of help, maybe with a little bit of mentoring, maybe with a little bit of a nudge, right? Like, and so, yeah, I that's awesome. I like how you simplified that.
Yeah. And it gets back to what I said right at the start. We want to reduce the emotion and bring the logic in. You know, if we get emotional when someone is picking on us or denigrating us, and that's being human. But then bring the logic in, like you said. What are the facts? Is what they're saying true, and do I deserve to be here? I've done the training. I'm doing my best. I'm learning all the time. So we're reducing the emotion and then bringing the logic in.
I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, Helen, you've had so many great pieces of advice, so many great little tidbits that you've thrown out. So I really appreciate for that. I think, again, there's lots of takeaways here for our listeners, and I'll be throwing a bunch of your information and your resources in the show notes. So you guys, if you're listening and you're like, oh my God, I want that, that sheet, I want that tip sheet, or I want to take a workshop, or I want that 90-day journal, all of that stuff. It's going to be in the show notes so people can get their hands on it and they can start to do that work as well. That kind of internal looking, that maybe work on that insomnia a little bit, maybe get rid of a little bit of that anxiety, because we all could use that. So I want to wrap up, and I like to ask kind of rapid fire questions just to kind of wrap up the podcast. And for you, because you don't come from a first responder background, this question is kind of a little bit different, but you did say before we started recording that you did suffer from insomnia. So that was something that you personally suffered from. What you learned from your personal journey is what kind of helped guide you through this work and put together your book and things like that. So I'm going to ask you this, and it might not have ever crossed your mind, but when you were in those bouts of insomnia, what was your favorite food or snack to keep you going?
Chocolate.
Yes.
I would even get in the car to drive to get some chocolate.
I love that. I do have a little secret stash in my bedside drawer of like, I'm feeling a little snacky at 4 a.m. and I'll just have this little square of chocolate and it'll make me feel better. But then I have to get up and brush my teeth and I'm like, oh, was it worth it? No, it was worth it. That's excellent. Okay. Number 2 question. And you've kind of given us lots of different strategies and things like that. But as somebody who's looking at it from the outside in, what's a piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's looking to start a first responder career and that wants to keep that mental, physical wellness going?
The main thing is to believe in yourself and to know and to be reassured you're doing this for the right reasons. You want to do this. You want to help people. And not many people can do what you do, and the rest of the community would appreciate what you do.
Yes. 3rd question, and this one's totally random, and it can be about any part of your life. But what is the funniest thing that's happened to you in the last 3 months?
I'm from a little town in New South Wales, and I go to Sydney to have clients. And a few months ago, we were in England, and this, I don't know if he was American or Canadian, we were in a bar, this out-of-the-way bar. There was a laneway. You couldn't even get a truck or a car down the laneway. It was hidden. And this American said, well, where are you from? And we said, from Narrabri. That's our little town. And then Then he said to the man standing next to us, who we didn't know, said, where are you from? And the guy said, I'm from Narrabri. It was weird because the bloke that we didn't know thought we were taking the mickey out of him and stirring him up. But we both really were from Narrabri, this tiny little town. And
all the way in England.
Yeah, all the way in England. And then we had a few beers together, and we talking about the people we both knew in this tiny little town, and it was very funny because my husband thought he was about to have a go at us because he thought we were making fun of him coming from. It was so random. It just, in all the bars, in all the world, you happen to run into this one.
Yes. You know what I love? Okay, what's the funniest part for me of this story is all of the Australianisms that you had in this story. That's the funniest part. Taking the Mickey, have a go. Like I love it. My family's from England. And so I know, like, even when you said uni earlier on, nobody in Canada, it's university here. Nobody calls it uni. That's only in the UK, Australia, New Zealand. Anywhere else, it's university. Nobody calls it uni. So when you called it uni, I was like, oh, my heart. And then, having a go, taking the Mickey. There's no way. Like, it's just everything you said. I'm like, yeah. That's exactly.
I didn't even realise I was saying that. When you said about shortening university, Australians love shortening words, right? They love shortening. Like Gary is Gazza or Gaz.
Yeah.
Sharon is Shaz. There's a big running race in Melbourne at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's a very famous sporting field, the Melbourne Cricket Ground. We shorten it to the MCG. So you're going for a run at the MCG. So we shorten it again. There's a run. I'm going to run to the G, which is running to the Melbourne Cricket Ground is run to the G, and everyone knows what you're talking about.
It's because they got so much they got to talk about. They got to shorten it all down. You got to okay. And so then this is just a funny an aside. What do you call flip-flops in Australia?
Thongs.
Are they thongs? Yes, because they're jandals or something in New Zealand.
In New Zealand, yes.
Jandals. You call them thongs. We call them flip-flops. That is so funny. Right? Again, like all these things, we're all in the same planet Earth, but it's all different. It's all different.
It's really interesting. And a redhead person is called Bluey. And if you're having a fight with someone, you're having a blue. Did you have a blue with someone?
Oh my God. Okay, and what is that from?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. Like, I don't know.
That is so interesting. Yeah,
maybe to blow up or blue.
Yeah. I'll do a little research on that because that is very interesting. But Helen, it's been a treat. Like even just hearing your accent, like I said, that makes me happy. Our listeners love it. We had a former Australian police officer on the show seasons and seasons ago, and everyone commented, "Oh, we loved listening to her. I love her voice. I love her accent." So even if they're not listening to any of the words you're saying, they're listening to your accent.
We went to a bar in Texas a few years ago, and Aussies like staying up late, right, and drinking and talking, and we found all these people sitting around us late at night, and they said, "We just want to listen to your accent." Say something.
You're like, okay, yes, we can be your entertainment, no problem. Beautiful. Well, it's been a treat, Helen. Thank you again. Like I said, greatly appreciate you taking the time, all the information, all the science-backed stuff that you shared with us. It's so awesome. For our listeners, again, if you want to grab Helen's book, Put Insomnia to Sleep, it is available on Amazon. Great Christmas present, guys. Just saying. Also, her 90-day journal. And do you have any workshops coming up that I can plug for you?
I'm always ready to do a workshop at drop of a hat. So
excellent. Well, maybe we'll get together a little Canadian group for you, and you can put one on for us.
Right. Yes. And I love helping people. And as you can see, I love talking and I love helping people and seeing them get the best out of themselves.
Yes. Yep. Incredible. Incredible. Well, I'm going to leave it on that note, Helen. It has been a treat. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Yes, same to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, listening, giving me your time, your energy, and your attention. I completely appreciate it. Make sure you check out our next episode with another badass female first responder anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bluelinefitnesstesting.com. I hope you stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your six. Blue Line Fitness Testing is a premier law enforcement fitness testing and training center based in Edmonton. Specializing in helping individuals prepare for the physical demands of a career in law enforcement, we offer comprehensive fitness evaluations, specialized training programs, and classes tailored to meet the unique needs of our clients. Our facility hosts a range of classes and are committed to fostering a supportive and empowering environment where clients can achieve their fitness goals. Our team includes experienced trainers who bring specialized expertise in law enforcement, self-defense, personal training, and rehabilitation. We engage through our community through challenges, events, and our podcast, and we are dedicated to helping individuals succeed in their fitness journeys and career aspirations in law enforcement. Are you looking to get started with your career? Come see Blue Line Fitness Testing, and we'll get you there.